Hello, everybody. Me again. Hope everybody had a good day today. I am driving to go see my daughter. I watch her on the weekends. I go Friday evenings, and stay there at my ex's house until Sunday evening when she gets on her last day of work. She works the weekend, so my situation isn't really, common, but it works for us, and we don't have to get a babysitter, which nowadays is hard to find someone that's trustworthy. So we just don't like the idea of, one, spending all the money, and two, having our daughter with a stranger that we don't even know. So can you blame us? But yeah, it works. So before I came down to Florida, I was working on the road. I did that for like 2.5 years. I think the last video I mentioned about being like a roughneck, whatnot, doing my leap of faith and everything like that, which I did, and I enjoyed it. I loved being a roughneck. I loved every bit of that life. I apologize, it's a little dark, but yeah, I enjoyed every bit of that kind of work. I loved being a roughneck. I loved working on the rig, all sorts of that. You were always so freaking dirty at the end of the day. Like, if you're clean at the end of the day, you weren't working. That's for damn sure. But I loved it, man. So anyways, fast forward. So COVID hit, I think, 2020, I think. Yeah, somewhere around there. I ended up getting laid off from one of the rigs I was on. I was with Akita Drilling, and I was down in Texas, Midland, Texas area. And we got our rig stacked up because the oil prices crashed, and so they really kept like so many rigs going. And I was very fortunate to be on one for as long as I was, as new as I was with that company. Stacked us out, moved some guys around, laid some of us guys off, but it wasn't too bad because the unemployment that I collected, which was the first time I ever collected unemployment in my life because I always had a job, was nice because it was still like I was working. But the best part about it was my daughter, she was just born, so I got to spend the first 6 months of her life like with her, and that was great, like every single day. And finally the unemployment started to dry up a little bit, and things were trying to go back to normal. I needed to find a job. And I looked, oh my gosh, I wanted to go back to the oil field. In that area where I was in Colorado, I was in Pueblo West, Colorado. And the company I did work for was in Greeley, Colorado. It was the Ensign Well Service. I was with them before my daughter was born, but I didn't really want to go back to that, so that company anyways. So I went and applied on Indeed. Like, I just started applying for jobs and came across a company called Rock Supremacy. I know it sounds crazy, but man, I tell you what, that job was pretty fucking awesome. Like, it was a badass job. It was a lot of rock fall mitigation. Travel the country, climbing mountains basically. Like, you tie off on top of a mountainside, tie off to a tree, or if you can't find any trees, you use these little bolts called redheads, and you drill these holes in the boulders. So you gotta take a hammer and tap the boulder, make sure it's not hollow. But you drill at least 2 to 3 holes, and you tie off on these hangers. You tighten the redheads down on the hangers, and then you take your steely clips. You got your steelies for your rope, hook it through your rope, and then onto the hanger. And so you hang off of that. And each steely, they're 5,000 pound tested. So if you have like 2 steelies on, that's 10,000 pounds that you can have on that rope, basically. So they're pretty solid stuff. All your equipment, it's solid equipment. It's rock climbing equipment. It's tested. It's proven, like Petzl. We use a lot of Petzl stuff. That's a good rock climbing company. But yeah, I took that job, and then that was like, I was on the road from there on, like 2.5 years. And through that time period, shortly after I took that job, my ex-wife and I, we got divorced. So that was like the nail in the coffin. Things happen in life. Sometimes, I know when people get married, they don't get married to plan to get divorced. You don't marry someone thinking you're going to get divorced because, you love that person and you want to spend your life with them. And my advice is this: really get to know the person that you are interested in, okay? Get to know your person. Like, don't rush into things. Don't just jump headfirst into, your relationships. Don't get married the first couple months, whatever. Don't do any of that. Just really date. Get to know your person. Find out if that is the person that you want to be with, okay? Now, I'm not saying that I regret marrying my ex. I don't regret that. I don't regret that experience at all. Because I'm not saying that, we weren't in love. I mean, sure we were. I felt like we were in love and stuff, but I found out a whole lot of stuff about myself that I did not know. I found out a lot of stuff about myself I didn't know. I thought I knew, but that was wrong. So you just really got to make sure that you're ready for something like that, because I wasn't ready. I thought I was, but it wasn't. So yeah, we were married for about roughly 3 years, and we had a daughter. We have a daughter, and who I'm driving to go see right now. My last job with that company was in Oklahoma, and I was going to stay with the company for like 5 more years, and I was like, yeah, I'll do about 5 more years and see where I'm at. But the truth is that every time I saw my daughter, she's a different kid, and I got really tired of that. I got tired of my daughter being different, and I missed out on her walking. I got a video or two of her starting to walk, but that's about it. But yeah, I mean, it's just time that I'll never get back with her. But I don't regret anything that I've done. I'm proud and happy with everything I've done in my life, but at the same time, yeah, I am bummed out that I missed out a lot on her, like the early years. Now, luckily, she's only 4 years old, so I missed out the 2 years of her life beginning. But I never missed her birthday. I've never missed a birthday, and I never will miss her birthday. I continue to be present in her life now. I'm very grateful that her mom and I are cordial. We get along. We're friends. We co-parent very well. Like, I'm very blessed for that. I'm very lucky. And not a lot of dads or moms have that situation or that luxury with their exes to be a parent like me and my ex are our daughter. So, but I was like, man, 5 more years of this, I don't think I'm gonna do this. When I was in Oklahoma, it was really starting to hit me because, like, in my last video, I mentioned that my dad passed away when I was really young. When my dad passed away, I mean, I barely knew him. I got like 3 images in my head of him, and that's about it. I don't remember anything else about my dad. So, thinking about that in Oklahoma, I'm like, well, I'm alive. My daughter has a father, so it's like, what's the point? Like, why am I away from her? Like, why? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why am I doing this? I mean, at the end of the day, it's just for money, But money isn't everything. Money can't buy back time. It can't buy things that are irreplaceable like that. So I made a decision, and I was lucky that my ex was like, yeah, you come live with us for a little bit until you get your own place. I was like, perfect. Let's just do that. So everything worked out. Fast forward to now, it's like 2 years later. I've been in Florida for 2 years now with my daughter, and it's been great. Like, I'm happy that I've had this time to bond with her, and like, I don't regret making that decision. I'm so happy I made that decision because I really feel like that it would have been so hard to get a relationship with her if I would have waited any longer, if I would have spent any more time away from her. I really feel like it would have been difficult for me to get that relationship back with her. So I'm happy that I decided to do what I did and come down here and be a father. Like, I love being a father. I love being her daddy. I love it. Kids are a whole different thing now. They are. They're a whole different thing. You hear your name get called a lot. Probably hear daddy 100 times in one day. I wouldn't change it for the world, though. Like, I love it. Such a sweetheart. Oh, my career with Rockfall Mitigation, I mean, that was great. I loved it. 2.5 years on the road. I will say this, I was nowhere near put together like I am now. I've mentioned before on videos where you can't hold yourself accountable for who you were yesterday, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, last year, 5 years ago. Whoever you were in the past, you can't be held accountable for that person today. The only person you hold yourself accountable for is the person you are right now. And what are the choices you're making right now, and the decisions you're making to move forward in life. So that's where you hold yourself accountable at. I'm just really glad I did that. I'm glad I had that experience of traveling. All the choices that I made while I was on the road, they weren't the greatest choices. I'll admit to that. I used to struggle with alcohol. I used to be really bad with alcohol. I used to have a hard time with it. I was that guy that couldn't just have one or two, more than that. So it was definitely not good. And plus, I mean, it'd be like I get out of work and have a six pack. It was easy to have a six pack, and it was easy to get in the habit of doing that every day because you're a long day of work, and it was just too much of a bad habit, and I got really sick of that. So finally grasping, like getting control of that, like getting off the road, getting myself up. I think maybe I had one more time. I had some issues with alcohol, but then after that, that's it. Like I finally put it down. And like no more. Now I can actually drink, have a drink or two, and then that be it. I can do that now. I have self-control. I've gained that with myself, and I feel so liberated that alcohol is not something that I lean towards when I'm bored or when I'm depressed or when I'm not feeling good or whatever. Like, I don't do that anymore. So I'm really happy that I made it past that barrier, that vice, because at the end of the day, I mean, one, it's not good for you. It's not a good habit. And it makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do when you're sober. And two, it's expensive. So then you start choosing alcohol over priority things. That's when you know it's a problem. It's when you choose alcohol. I know I need to do this, but man, why not get drunk? Just do that. It's so easy to just do that. So that's another reason. But I'm not saying that alcohol is bad altogether. I mean, I'm not saying you can't have a drink or two, but be in control is what I'm saying. Is be in control of yourself. Do not let yourself get out of control. I let myself get out of control for a while, and I'm glad I got myself back. I'm happy I have myself back, because there's no telling. There's no telling where my life would have went if I would have never stopped doing that, or if I would have never got off the road. Would I have found my way on the road? Yeah, man. I was surrounded by a lot of good people, a lot of good guys. It was a great brotherhood. It really was. And everybody looked out for everybody. As long as you were open and you talked about things, like, people take care of you, but if you don't say nothing, can't do nothing for you. So I had a lot of great guys around me that cared about me and loved me. So if I felt like I really had a problem, then yeah, I could have addressed it and they would have helped me out. But yeah, I mean, that's just that part of my life. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from divorce. I learned a lot from marriage, divorce. I learned a lot from being on the road. It's like the last 6 years, 7 years I've been on the road. Not working on the road, but I've been traveling, it seems like. Ever since I took that leap of faith, it's just been, my life has been constantly moving. I'm glad I left. I'm so glad I left Michigan when I did. Michigan's a beautiful state, but there really isn't anything there. There's stuff there if you look. I'm sure you'll find it, but for me, I couldn't find nothing for myself. I couldn't find a reason to stay there. Not that I didn't love it, and I did love it there. It was beautiful, but man, the economy is shit, and I guess jobs there, just when I was there, man, jobs, they just weren't really paying very well. I left. Besides, I was one of the people that I couldn't stay in the same place for very long. And where I was at, I was like, if I stay here any longer, I'm going to be stuck here. So I finally said, fuck this, I'm going. I never would have thought in a million years I'd end up in Florida either. So it's pretty cool. I like Florida, but at the same time, it's just, I don't want to live here. I love it. I do love it here, but I do not want to live here. I cannot. One thing I cannot stand is the doggone traffic. I cannot stand the traffic down here. Traffic down here is horrible. My God, is it horrible? It's like it'll be a Sunday. It'll be a Sunday night driving back to Orlando. I live past the Orlando area, and my drive is like 2 hours maybe from me to my daughter. And God, Sunday night, it's like it could be 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, even 11, and you're on the highway, and then you're still running into traffic. It's like it's a Sunday night. Where does everybody need to be? You know, like where I'm from on a Sunday night, there's a ghost. So that gets annoying. So yeah, these little drives I do. I mean, it's a nice time to reflect and work on this, my podcast, listen to audio books, how you can start doing it again. You know, books are very important. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff out there. A lot of great stuff. Just put your mind to it, focus, and, there's a lot of things that you can accomplish. I mean, I'm very accomplished. I've accomplished a lot of things in my life, in my short life. I mean, I'm 34. I've done a lot of things. I mean, I don't remember everything I've done. Like I said, I don't regret anything that I've done. I don't regret any of the choices I've made for my career, where I've been, what I've done, who I've met. But the big picture, I've seen the big picture for what it is. I mean, understanding and seeing it is really, like, opened my eyes wider and, like, what it is I should be really focused on. You know, if you don't focus on money, that's fine. You don't need to focus on money. Money's always there. It can always be made. You can always make more, whatever. Family's important. Your family's more important than anything. Moving down here, yeah, I took a pay cut, like half my pay, maybe a little less than half of that. So I drastically. I mean, has it been stressful since? I mean, yes and no. Yes and no, it has been. Making it work. That's why I started my business, my coaching business. I've been around physical fitness for roughly 21 years, and I love it. It's always been there for me, regardless. No matter where I'm at in my life, no matter how I feel, no matter what I'm going through, the gym has always been there for me. It has what shaped me and who I am today. It contributes to a big part of who I am. And what I love most about it is that I have all this knowledge now that I can teach people. I can show people the right way to do things, like how to work out, how to eat right, I can show them all this stuff. I love working with beginners. Working with beginners is fun because they don't know what the hell they're doing. But you know what? I'm going to get them to know what they're doing. So that's very fun. I enjoy that so much. It's slow, I'm not signing a lot of people right now. That's okay. It takes a while for your business to get going. So I get discouraged about it. Not necessarily. I get frustrated. I get more frustrated. I get discouraged. I know in a matter of time it's not going to matter. It's going to be me staying consistent with what I'm doing will give me the success that I'm looking for. As long as I don't give up, as long as I keep staying persistent, as long as I keep talking, as long as I keep, doing what I practice, what I preach, whatever, as long as I keep doing all those things, it'll all work out. I appreciate the experience. I'm so glad I did it because it's the best decision I ever made. I don't want to be an employee anymore. I don't want to work for anybody anymore. I want to work for myself. I want to do what I want to do. Rat race here in America is some bullshit. It's like every country in the world laughing at us. It's almost like they won at life because they're not stuck in this crap that we're stuck in. They may be a little in poverty or whatever. Some countries that are just thriving right now, and they don't put work first. They're not stuck in that spend, consume, buy, consuming, producing. So yeah, I think it's great to work for yourself. It's great to be your own boss. I'm glad I waited as long as I did to do it because if I would have done it in the past, I would have fucked it up. I think I would have fucked it all up. But I've been saying no to it forever. I really have. I've been saying no to being a coach for probably 10 years. I've been telling myself no. I've been telling myself I need to wait. I'm glad I did. Don't get me wrong, but the point is that you should never wait. Don't tell yourself no. Just do it. Just start doing it. Start learning from your mistakes as soon as you can, and just start building from there. That's all you gotta do. You'll get better as you go. As long as you keep trying, keep putting your right foot forward, and you keep doing your best, you're gonna be successful. Well, that's all I want to talk about tonight. I mean, end of that episode. I appreciate you guys listening. You guys, like I said, I'm gonna do one video probably a week, or if I do one video every other day, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I appreciate you guys listening in. Appreciate you guys listening in. You guys have a good night. Thank you.